I'm getting ready for that 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿 training camp
That's next week, eh?
next week. Yeah, I was looking at the instructors. There's like fucking 30 instructors or something that are going to be there.
How big's the class?
I don't know how big the classes are, but it's like 3 sessions a day. Essentially like an all-inclusive retreat, jiu-jitsu retreat, right? They give you your meals. You're bunked up with other dudes, like in I don't know, in a cabin or something. I don't know. So
Jiu-Jitsu summer camp for adults. I like that.
yeah. So I'm excited.
Any big name instructors?
Like Dean Lister,
Oh shit,
𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿.
Jocko's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few like recognizable ones, and but there can be like amazingly legit people that I've never even heard of. So there's some guy that's like a 6-stripe black belt in there, which means I'm pretty sure that means he's had his black belt for 30 years. That's a long ass fucking time.
Yeah.
So got your black belt in 95 or something, right? Like but yeah, it should be a good time. A couple of guys from Terra went down last year, Milan and Will. So they said they had a great time. But I'm just going down solo, so have to meet some friends.
Yeah,
find some friends.
buddy up quick.
Yeah.
Is it a? Are you driving down?
No, I wanted to, but both the ferries are booked up. No room for vehicles on the ferries, so end up booking the flights. Flights are a nightmare, but it's okay. I booked it on points, 23,000 points to fly to Maine and back. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't use them. Like I looked at my points and I had a bunch of them. So
we're the same way. We got a companion voucher with our credit card.
Yeah.
Never used them.
Right.
Every year we're like, well, where are we going to go with the kids?
Yeah.
It's like, it's too late.
I'm pretty sure I probably lost points as well from not using them over time. But, I'm flying down first class.
Very nice.
I've never flown first class before. I usually like to fly right in the back of the plane so I can just kind of keep an eye on everything,
That's right. Yeah. Have a look.
Yeah. Keep an eye on what's going on. If anybody's standing up looking crazy, then I got a bead on it right away. I don't have to turn around and look back.
I like it. Yeah, we traveling is one of our like few pleasures, I'll say, outside of camping.
Right.
So if me and Pam go, we'll grab seats in the front, and a lot of times we'll get them on points. The wife travels a lot, so she has a ton of points.
Yeah.
But one time we were coming back from the Dominican and we got pods.
Really?
It was, I didn't want the flight to end. It was amazing. You're in a pod, it turns into a bed, you got a TV, shoveling food down your throat, drinks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our planes here have like regressed so much, like the quality of the flights.
Yeah.
I mean, like 𝐃𝐨𝐬 just had a friend come in from the US, a work friend, to visit them, and when he got on like the Canadian planes, he's like, I feel like this is like communist air. Like this is like, feels like I'm in the Soviet Union. Like these planes are like bare bones. The Air Canada has like less than normal leg room, like less than average leg room for people. So, I mean, it's
yeah.
Not
if you
ideal.
get a Rouge flight,
Yeah,
Rouge,
yeah.
Those planes are terrible.
Yeah.
It feels like, you're getting whisked out of a terrible situation.
Yeah.
In those things. And I find the staff, for some reason, there has been a couple of good ones, but a lot of the Air Canada staff treat you like you're an asshole.
Oh,
the
really?
whole time. Yeah.
You're the enemy.
Yeah. Up in front, it's a bit different, but we've had people that like just don't come out.
Yeah.
When you hit the buzzer and they're like, yeah. It's like, this is fun. We're with you for 3 hours.
Yeah, I paid $1,000 for this plane ride. You know?
Please put a smile on.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's so many regulations that they don't allow any other competition, so they don't have to improve.
Well, look at our telecommunications.
Yeah, that's all we got. Yeah, we pay the most in the world for that, right?
Yeah. There's no competition. We don't allow it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Canada, something that has me stressed to pieces is the forest fires.
Any property you got affected by?
No, we got some friends that are very close to it,
Yeah.
and we've had some friends that had to evacuate. And also, what's going on in New Brunswick has me worried. It seems very COVID-esque.
Yeah, essentially climate change lockdowns.
Yeah,
I mean, that is so bizarre because it's such an overreach, and because they're violating the charter when they do that. So, if you're saying that people aren't allowed to hike in the woods, you're restricting people's movement, you're restricting somebody's liberty in this country as well. So, like Section 7 of the charter gives you freedom and liberty. So, if the government's going to implement some kind of a rule or a law that infringes on your rights, it has to pass a test first for that. So, well, if it goes to court, so it's something called the Oakes test. So the Oak test is case law from like the '80s, but but if there's an infringement on your charter, then that's what it goes through when it goes to court. And if the government's putting in a rule, it has, and it's going to affect your charter rights, it has to be minimally invasive to your charter rights. So they have to be able to prove why it's a necessity to have people not have access to the woods. So it's pretty difficult for them to do that. I don't know how they believe they can get away with that. So they've already charged. I've seen they charge a guy with $28,000 in a fine for hiking in the woods. Uh, so if that guy appeals that in provincial court might throw it out, or it goes to the Supreme Court of, I think that happened in Nova Scotia. Um, so, um, I just don't know how they can get away with that because um, they have two arguments for it. One, I think, is public safety. They don't believe it's safe for you to go in the woods, but it's also not safe for you to drive. Like driving is not safe. People die from driving.
yeah,
Okay. The other argument, so they've made arguments both in a different argument in Nova Scotia that they made in New Brunswick. So the other argument was, well, if you go out hiking and you hurt yourself, we don't want to divert resources from fighting these fires to go save you. Okay, well, there's a solution to that, is that if you go into a high risk zone that's experiencing wildfires, and you end up having to call 911 for somebody to come get you, then you can fine that person for not acting responsibly and then diverting resources. But to just give a blanket, uh, ruling that says nobody's allowed to hike, it's too restrictive. It's too far of a reach, right? So um, that's an easy way to deal with that. So what they're essentially saying is that they don't trust your average citizen, and they suspect everybody to be an arsonist, essentially,
yeah.
right? They don't trust anybody now to be going into the woods because they believe that you'll start a fire. So, I mean, some things make sense, like no ATVs, right? Like an ATV, if like the engine could, a hot engine could start a fire or whatever, lots of stuff you can make sense of. But simply hiking in the woods, I mean, you have the right to movement, unrestricted movement, Section 6 in the charter, Section 7 for liberty, right? So what COVID did, I believe, is like set this precedent where the government believes it can act as this kind of authoritarian state and just restrict you and throw the charter right out the window. So I know, like here in Newfoundland, we don't have those restrictions at this time. They've upped the ante as far as fines and penalties go. But I mean, so I don't know what the difference is there for Newfoundland and the other places are. I know our premier is also a lawyer, so maybe he knows that, right? So I mean, but this is like basic law stuff. This is introductory to law,
Yeah.
like basic stuff when you learn about like charter and like an Oakes test and all this kind of stuff. So it shouldn't take a lawyer to understand that that's an infringement. So, so yeah, that stuff is it's a slippery slope, and it's and this is where we are. So I don't like that at all. And even for police officers to be enforcing that, it doesn't do the reputation of the police any good, right? So I mean, something that police unions can do is essentially band together and say, okay, well, we believe this new rule that the government has laid out is infringing on people's charter rights. And for our police officers to enforce an infringement on their charter rights, it's going to cause reputational damage to the police. And, are you then putting police in a position that they're going to go into the woods, find a hiker, and then arrest a hiker? And anytime you go to arrest somebody, you have to understand that a lot of times the police officer is going to be judged on the arrest and if the arrest was necessary, right? So if a hiker is just like, no, I'm not going with you guys, so this is not it. Okay, well, now they're passively resisting. Now the police officer puts hands on them. Now they're actively resisting. And then it can turn into a combative situation. So then the police officers use force on the person, end up injuring or killing that person. And for what? So you're putting cops in a terrible position to enforce bullshit like that. And that stuff drives me nuts.
It confuses me that there's not more pushback by the police for these kind of things.
Yeah.
Especially when that minister came out from New Brunswick and was like, we're putting this in place because if you hurt yourself, we can't come get you.
Yeah.
As adults,
yeah,
that definitely is our decision.
Mm-hmm.
We need freedom of movement.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot from COVID, but we didn't at all.
Right.
And the pushback should be huge. I see those fires and it's terrible, and people are, I'm sure properties have been destroyed, and things like a fire ban make sense. Don't start fires.
Yeah.
It's the driest season ever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, don't go in the woods. And I was reading about this climate ban that they're trying in Belgium, where some towns close down when it gets too hot, and small businesses are getting hurt by it. What's better on a hot day than to go to some shops,
right?
And it's all lockstep all the time. So it's only a matter of time. I feel like it sounds conspiratorial, but after COVID, I mean, there's nothing that I don't believe anymore.
Dude, anything is on the table, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just COVID. So much weird shit has been proven to be true. So, I mean, what is the purpose? What's the true purpose of not allowing anybody in the woods? What's the true purpose of it? Because you cannot just give one answer in New Brunswick, which was that. And then the other answer in Nova Scotia was what? It was something different, right? It was like, we don't trust you to go into the woods, essentially, Nova Scotia, because we believe that you'll cause a fire by hiking.
Yeah.
And then in New Brunswick, it's, if you get hurt, then you're diverting resources. We got to come get you. And that's where, you don't have to disallow somebody from going into the woods. It's just that, if you divert resources by being an idiot, then you can be subject to a fine, right? So, it's like, is there something else? Is there information that they're not sharing as to why they don't want anybody in the woods? Like, what is actually going on, right? Because to put the conspiratorial hat on, they did arrest people in recent years for starting fires in Manitoba and whatnot. And you have these climate activists and extremists who will set a fire in the woods to bring more attention to the climate change issue. So do they have intelligence to say that is going on in multiple provinces? And there's some kind of an organized group that are organizing people to go into the woods and start fires? You'd have to come out with that information, because that's the only way that I could possibly, and not even I still wouldn't agree with it, but wrap my head around them restricting anybody from going into the woods. Because I mean, that's the thing. The rule is no going into the woods, right? So the woods is like a very broad definition, which is
big
like,
time. Is a park the woods?
yeah,
There was a bunch of.
yeah,
I read a story once these fires started, and it was about a climate activist who started 11 fires in like Vancouver.
right,
So there is people that do that.
yeah,
I think it was something like 67 or 70% of the fires that were started that happened in Alberta had human intervention
right,
that started them.
yeah,
And I've heard stories of like gas cans were found near
right,
the site. So
yeah,
is there a nut job out there doing this?
yeah,
And will we know, or is it the narrative where it's like
yeah,
they're pushing electric vehicles? They're saying that we will no longer have gas vehicles in like
right,
2035. It's like, cool. Well, we live in Newfoundland. It is very cold, and
yeah,
they don't hold their charge
right,
in Newfoundland. So
yeah,
do we not go 8 hours on the highway?
yeah, yeah,
Are we just stuck to a little city
right.
in our little EVs?
He's the 15-minute city. Or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah,
And it's funny because they're like, oh, that's wacko conspiracy stuff.
yeah,
And then you see all these things kind of falling into place. First it's
Yeah.
COVID.
yeah,
Then they're like, okay, a little overboard. Oh, the climate.
yeah,
Climate change is happening. I was recently at a party, at a dinner party, and I was talking to this woman, and she's like, something about all the fires. I know, we were just chatting, and I said, it really seems like the way that these are starting up so close, because the one in Holyrood and the one over Kingston, possibly, they're so close, and they just started up within a day of each other.
Right.
And I said, it seems like those were probably started. And she goes, yeah, well, climate change doesn't help. I'm like, well, it's the summertime. It's warm. It doesn't seem like anything crazy. It's
Yeah.
like 40 degrees.
yeah,
The grass is dry, but there's also no clearing of the underbrush.
right,
Like, what is our forestry department doing
Right.
to make sure this doesn't happen?
yeah,
And everything is reactive and nothing is proactive.
yeah,
And at the same time, not to go on a tangent, but you look at where we spend our money, it's not on infrastructure, it's outside of here. So
Right,
it's like the
yeah.
perfect formula for chaos.
Yeah.
We can't afford to fix the problems.
Yeah.
But the problems are actually these things that we could fix. You just need to give up a little bit of your freedom, you
Right.
know?
yeah, yeah. It's not good. It's not good. And what's worse is that people just seem to go along with it.
It's a
Right.
Canadian mindset now.
Yeah,
Everything is, I don't want to be a problem.
yeah,
They say that if I do this thing, it will hurt people. There are things that you can do that will hurt people. You
Yeah.
shouldn't do those things.
right,
Having a fire right now is not a good idea.
yeah.
Walking in the woods is your own personal choice.
And the other aspect of it that drives people nuts is like like the penalties that they're implementing for breaking the rules on this stuff. Like they're so much more severe than any kind of a criminal penalty somebody can get, right? Like, I mean, you name it, from impaired driving to assaults to whatever. I mean, you routinely have I think the average fine for an impaired driver at the end of the day is like, there's like no jail time and there's like $1,000 fine. It's not a big penalty. Sure, like your insurance and all that kind of stuff gets affected, but that shouldn't matter to a court of law. And so when you're talking about a $28,000 ticket for hiking in the woods, or even if you had a fire and you were irresponsible with the fire and you got fined with the fire, I mean, you get penalized for that, and that's a far greater penalty than like a legit criminal act you can do when you're targeting something like rob a liquor store.
Yeah.
Right? The firearm, and you're not getting a $28,000 fine or 6 months in jail. Right? Like, even when you do robberies here in Canada, like you might go to jail.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah. Like there's a chance you might go to jail, but there's a good chance you won't. So.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, before all this happened, there was a fire ban going on.
Yeah.
And where we camped to like a smoker.
Right.
And it's all contained inside of a smoker. And I had the smoker going. And again, no forest fires around like it's going on now. And our neighbor that was camping next to us called and complained to the park and said we were having multiple fires all weekend.
Right.
You know, and that is the mindset of a lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, well, you know, and they can really be the authority of the new rule.
All they need now is their social credit score to go up, right?
Exactly.
Like China, like Chinese shit, right?
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, as far as I know, you're still, you're allowed to have like a propane fire.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's like, there has to be, you know, it's an emergency. There has to be rules put in place, but you can't treat people like children and treat people like they're suspects, right? Like everybody's a suspect. You know, you go into the woods. Well, we don't trust you to go in the woods just for a hike. You know, we think your hiking is going to start a fire. And the actual statistics for forest fires caused by humans, like all things are equal, is very low. It's like something I heard it was like 2% of, like, you know, if there's not weird shit going on, people aren't starting fires, like we've talked about,
like accidental fires.
Yeah, like accidentally starting some kind of a wildfire. The cases where it's human involvement is like 2%. You know, so when you see somebody getting arrested, like what do you say, like 11 times, and I think people got arrested in Manitoba maybe last year. I'm just kind of off the top of my head, but there's been multiple arrests over the years for people starting fires, right? So, so there appears to be something weird going on.
Big time.
You know,
big time. And that's what worries me. There's rain on the way, and hopefully that takes care of what's happening right now.
Right.
But you look at, I mean, they're happening everywhere, in every country, in every state, every province. It seems there's these fires, and the climate isn't changing. Like someone put up a statistic, and they're like, "This has been the driest season on record."
Right.
I'm like, since when?
Yeah.
Then when you look it up, it's like since 1946.
Right.
So they had this dry period before.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
It's just a cycle.
Right. I mean, there's like documented heat waves that have lasted months, you know, and of temperatures like well above 30.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of hot and uncomfortable summers in the past. So, you know, you can't tell me that the climate has changed that significantly over the past, like, since COVID.
Yeah.
Because it's like COVID went down, and then all of a sudden, every summer after COVID, there's just been wildfires. You know, so is there an extremist?
It's a little suspicious.
Is there an extremist element to it? You know, so that is the question.
And if they worried that much, I mean, we'd be at a full-on war with China. How many coal mines did they open up?
They open up one a week or something. They're just popping up flat out, right? And the amount of pollution that section of the world is responsible for. If you look at like Canada as a percentage of emissions worldwide, it's essentially negligible. So we're breaking our backs here to fight climate change by, you know, getting rid of gas-powered vehicles and restricting the sale of gas-powered vehicles, which is going to, like, essentially, it's going to destroy our like vehicle inventories and economies that way. And like, do people not believe that that's coming? Like, do they not understand? Like, they've already made that law. They put that law into place. So, I mean, that's just going to be a nightmare to implement. So that's coming in 2035. So are we going to have, between now and 2035, are we going to magically have all this infrastructure to support these EVs and also have the power grid upgraded to be able to support all that extra power that's going to be needed? No, we're not.
Well,
like, it's not going to happen.
No, it can't. But once we're on the grid, I mean, they can start implementing whatever they want. You can only drive between these hours.
Right.
You can only drive this far. You're not going to be able to drive from here to Corner Brook, an 8-hour drive on an EV.
Right.
And even like a fast charging one takes an hour.
Yeah.
And where are you going to charge that up to on the highway?
Yeah.
You know, you got to time your route do you sleep there? Like it's so short-sighted, and everything that they put out is during COVID. It's you don't believe in science, and now it's you don't believe in climate change,
right?
And who knows? You don't believe in electric vehicles. It's a thing where people throw their common sense out the window so that they don't look stupid.
Yeah,
they want to be the elite class.
Yeah,
you know, we have a lot of friends that are in STEM, a lot of the STEM fields, and they won't broach the subject because they don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to look dumb. They have colleagues. They don't want to lose friends. So we have all these people. I mean, we've been looking to move based on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you have a country that is the second largest country in the world, and you have a population of 40 million, and we're all spread out across a straight line, like trying to get as close to the American border as possible. It's pretty much how our population's laid out, because it's fucking cold up here, and every every bit of latitude you can get down there, you know, it counts. But it's very hard to have a cohesive mindset and get people together on the same page, right? Like when we're spread out so thin, so from one end to the country to another, like very different priorities all across, right? So any kind of federal issue we have, or like issue as a whole as a country, there's never a lot of will to change it, because it's so hard to organize people, a large amount of people that actually have the time to give a fuck about it.
That's a good point.
You know, and when people are hurting financially, because we're in a recession now. I mean, we lost 40,000 jobs here this past month or something like that, right? When people are in a recession, they're just using all their energy for the most part to keep their heads above water. So they don't have the time to look into this climate stuff, or restricted movement and how that infringes on your charter or whatever. You know, they're just trying to make their money, and that's that. You know, so it's not good. We're not going down a good path, and there doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to be getting better. It seems like it's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah.
And where is that going to land us? When do we bottom out? Like, when does that happen? I don't know.
It's annoying because when Trudeau was in, his polls went way down. People were sick of it. The waste of money, the inflation, the smashing of jobs in the middle class. And a lot of people, it was like the encroachment on your rights as a Canadian.
Right.
And on top of that, I mean, there's been a real breakdown of the Canadian culture, being proud to be Canadian.
Yeah.
And now they've elected this guy because he didn't like Trump, and elbows up, and he's doing the same fucking thing as Trudeau.
Yeah.
You know, and all these people, I mean, they're like, this is my team, and they'll back them no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, and it's 4 more years, 8 more years of the same fucking thing until who knows where we are.
Right.
But the thing I see is, like, they use being proud to be Canadian during the election against Trump.
Yeah.
It's gone again.
Right.
You know, if I think if you ask a large section of Canadians to take down Canadian flags because it offended people, they probably would.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's, man, it's a real fucking mess. And with these fires too, because they're so aggressive, it's like, well, what's the next move here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very concerning, man. And I think Pierre Poilievre, he made a post there, was it today or yesterday, that said the federal government's been hiding our true immigration numbers as well.
I've seen that.
So, I mean, they've normalized lying to us, and that it's like through Trudeau. It's just like these blatant lies that will obviously get found out. It's not even like like the like tactical, weird, political kind of maneuvering lies. It's just out and out like fucking bullshit that they're feeding us all the time. And um, and it's sad because I mean they don't care and they can get away with it because nobody challenges them in the media, and they're not held accountable in that regard at all. So um, so yeah, I have no clue what the solution could be, because to be honest, I don't trust the conservatives when they get in either.
No.
Because I mean, you need to, like, I need to be shown that things are changing. I need to see the results, like, you know. So the conservatives are really the only other option. So we need a change of direction, but how much are they going to be willing to implement a change of direction once they get in? And then will they just go with the status quo just to try to appease both sides to maintain power, right? So
we talked about it before, about that kind of machine running in the background, and we're seeing it right now in the United States with the populist party that's in now with Trump, and they've completely backed away from all the important changes. The food is poison,
right?
It's like, okay, well, they're not really making any strides that I can see. And RFK Jr. is super frustrated by it, I've heard, from a couple of podcasts. And I mean, we talked about it until it's in the ground, but the Epstein list,
yeah,
that's not going anywhere.
Trump used to be based. Now he's not. Trump's not based anymore.
No, well, he's based on what he's told, it seems, and they all are.
Right.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I do feel like while they're implementing these "don't go in the woods" orders, they're doing it. They're kind of fearful, at least here. You know, they're like, there's some misinformation. I love that word. You know, that we're saying don't go in the woods. You can do all those things. You know, and because I think there is a bit of backlash, and more than before. I mean, when COVID happened, I was terrified. It was like this crazy disease.
The fear-mongering was nuts.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, big time. And Pam was pregnant, and I went out. I got masks. I got gloves. I went out and just stocked up on food and toilet paper. And you know.
My dad had an aggressive form of cancer and was going through chemo at the time. So I'm like, if he gets that, he's dead. You know. So like that was in my head. So I was extremely careful, and I was like very nervous about that.
Then as it played through, it was, you know, it's like, this seems stupid. I go to a restaurant, I have to wear a mask. I sit down, I'm magically safe.
Right.
Take the mask off. I eat. I get up, put it on to pay. You know,
so stupid.
It was crazy, and I think a lot of people, the appetite for that is gone.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why can't I go in the woods? Explain.
Right.
You know, and I seen that minister from New Brunswick getting blasted online for saying that, which she should.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, don't go in the woods. You might get hurt. You know, it's like, I'm an adult and I pay the taxes. So put the fires out. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. So if you go for a swim in the ocean and you start drowning in the ocean and you divert emergency services into the ocean, I mean, that's like, you know, anything, literally anything you do in the run of the day, you can get hurt and need emergency services.
Yeah.
People that are that go hiking in the woods, and active people who are concerned about their health, are generally the least amount of people, or the least kind of person that you need to be concerned about. Right. So, so I just don't understand how they would be able to justify that infringement on the charter in a court of law. You would have to have a judge that's on board, because it's a no-brainer to throw that out. So if it doesn't get thrown out, then it goes to the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia, I think, where that big fine was. And then it can go to the appeals court of the Court of Appeals in Nova Scotia. And then it should, like, it just cannot get past that level. It had to go to the Supreme Court of Canada if it was a widespread issue right across the country and in the public's interest. That has to happen. I mean, but then, like, how much then, because of like draconian authoritative rule that they're implementing. Now, how much are we going to pay in taxes now for somebody that is fighting this this stupid rule, right? So it'll just be more money wasted. Like they always just burn our money like it's absolutely just tinder, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's a wildfire in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a wildfire there for 10 years now, burning every dollar that they get their hands on, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or putting it in an envelope and sending it away. But
yeah.
Yeah, and I hope everyone stays safe out there. But yeah, that's been a big worry. We went up when we were camping. We went to the top of this hill, and there was lookout binoculars.
Yeah,
and I could just see the woods burning.
Right.
And I was like, I hope everyone's okay, and hopefully that doesn't spread. And then I started to really worry about, okay, what are they going to implement now?
Yeah.
And a week later, Nova Scotia pops off, New Brunswick pops off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, when is the censorship going to happen now? Where people are like, these are being set by people, flagged, dangerous misinformation, and it's we're right back.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, you dumbass.
Don't you believe in science?
Your tinfoil hat, dude?
Yeah.
But they banned tinfoil because it's reflective and might start a fire. Like, what else is going to get banned, right?
Yeah.
Did
they actually ban tinfoil?
No.
I need that for my hands.
See, but that's the thing. You'd actually have to question that because, it wouldn't be surprising because they have this history now of just making fucking nonsensical rules, right? So, nothing's off the table.
No. And people will jump right aboard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully everyone stays safe.